Edward VI had always been weak from the very beginning. He couldn't run like other boys, couldn't play, and couldn't even stand for too long. With every change in weather, he would fall sick, fevers, coughs, and aching bones. These were the signs that perhaps his body was made for a crown, but not for health. At the age of just 12, Edward was struck by his first serious illness. It began with a persistent cough, then a fever that simply wouldn't go away, and soon, strange blue bruises and sores began appearing on his body. Pus started to leak from his nose, and his weight began to drop rapidly. His skin became thinner and thinner, and his eyes sank deep into his skull. Doctors of the time had no idea why his body was rotting while still alive. Some say Edward had tuberculosis, but the truth may have been far worse. He may have suffered from a bone infection, what we now know as osteomyelitis, a disease that eats away the bones from the inside out. Edward's toes began to swell, then turned purple, and soon blood and pus oozed from them. The wounds didn't heal. They only grew deeper and darker. Edward ran a fever almost every day. By night, his bed would be soaked with sweat, blood, and pus. Whenever he tried to eat, he'd vomit immediately. Every breath brought pain. Every cough burned his throat. Some nights, he would groan in agony, until the sun rose again. Doctors tried everything, burning the wounds, draining them, herbs and potions. But nothing helped. Edward's skin no longer felt like skin. It felt like fragile paper. By the age of just 15, his body had turned into a living corpse. His lips were blue, his face pale, and his breath weak and broken. He would lie in bed, unable to speak, unable to see, only able to suffer. The pain in his spine was so unbearable, he couldn't even scream. Tears would just stream down his face in silence. Finally, on July the 6th, 1553, Edward took one last breath. The pain in his body ended, but the horror of his suffering was written into history forever.